Return to Glory podcast. Hunter Zarbanicki, Austin Rose, No Dakota. We'll have some more news on that maybe at some point. Nebraska Falls 21-17 to USC. Austin, I'll tell you what I've done in the last 24 hours. Nothing, like as far as thinking about the game, reading stuff, listening to stuff. Sometimes the 24-hour rule. Have you ever heard of that? When something happens and you just give yourself some time just to
digest.
That I usually I will read stuff, and we are recording Sunday night versus Monday morning this week. Usually I'll like listen or read stuff, whatever, to form some opinions and thoughts. I'll be honest, I haven't. I've just stayed away from it all.
Raw, unfiltered Hunter here.
I've got through the initial emotion, so now I've had some time to gather my thoughts. Opportunity missed is all I gotta say.
Yep.
That's gonna be the title of the podcast. That's the thing I keep coming back to is what an opportunity for this program to take advantage of a situation to take the next step. And we've obviously had a lot of these in the past. I'm not saying this is the first one, but this to me felt like the biggest one, given everything that was going on. And we had it, and we didn't capitalize on it. And I'm not going to make excuses for some of the things that happened, because there are a lot of things that did happen that we'll get into in this game. But at a high level, we didn't win the game. And it just feels like a huge opportunity that could have been taken advantage of if we would have won. And things would be looking very, very different for this program right now had we won the game.
Yep. Again, as you know, as I approach 30, I guess that's when you start watching things on tape delay. I had a wedding last night in Des Moines that I had to go, I got to go to. So I did not watch the game until this morning at 7 a.m. Time change, but I did watch it at 7 a.m. this morning. I told my wife though last night at the wedding, she was like, "Has anyone spoiled the game for you yet?" And I was like, "I haven't gotten a single text, which means we lost close." Because I know if we blew them out, there's gonna be celebration text, and we got absolutely destroyed. There would be morning text, but the close losses is just like I don't even want to talk about this. I guess first before we get into the game, I agree with the missed opportunity. We'll talk about the specifics of what happened in the game. Overall, I thought at times we looked very impressive defensively, and then there were a lot of times on defense we did not look very impressive, and offensively similarly. I guess before we get into it, one, I thought the blackout was executed well.
Very, very well.
As far as the stadium not turning on the light and the towels and the back in black, and I don't know how well losing this game bodes for the future of blackout games, but I think we'll try it again next year. But I did think it was executed very well. Good on you, Husker fans. I've doubted you and your abilities for a long time to color coordinate outside of wearing Husker red.
Thank you for saying that, because that was my first thing before the game. I wanted to call that out before I start going on whatever path I go down here. It was very neat. It was very, like you said, well executed. I still think people had their doubts of, there's going to be 20% Husker red in the stadium or whatever that number was. And I'm like, I don't think so. I really don't. Like this, and the more the day went on, the more black you saw and no red. And if it was any red, it was a USC fan. And I'm just like, it's like, this is going to be electric. And
Right.
Walking into the game, the student section, saw some photos online before going in, but it was just pitch black. And so you see some of the shots and everything afterwards. Very, very good. And take everything about the game out of it. All right. What are sports still? What are sports? It's entertainment.
Entertainment, 100%.
Okay. And while we do get, I think, caught up in caring and making it our life and our passion, and I'm very, very guilty of myself going to the extreme of that in multiple aspects of my life. But it still is pure entertainment. And something like this is very cool when it's well executed from an entire program. I'm not talking anything about the game, but that it was neat to see. Now, take all that aside, I was what I wanted more. I'm going to say that a little bit. I wanted a little more with, like, I wanted a moment where they shut everything off
I did too.
and
Yeah.
just let it sit for
And
like
let
30
everyone, like, it
seconds.
would get quiet and people just start to get loud and
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't. It's not a very obviously a hard thing to do. I felt like that could have been done at several points throughout, and they did do it like randomly in the first quarter. Like after a timeout, they shut everything off again and like then played some music, and it was kind of cool. Like it wasn't third quarter style, but it was like a random point. I was like, oh, well, that was unexpected. Um, I just also kind of felt like the crowd was juiced up and wild to start that first couple of drives. It just died off. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I kind of noticed that as well. And now I obviously was, since I was watching on, YouTube TV recording, I was fast forwarding through some of the downtime. But I noticed that as well, that, well, when we scored that first touchdown after like that 7-minute drive, I was like, oh man, like, one, I was terrified we were going to miss the extra point because if you miss that extra point, you kill everything, you know. But we had the two three and outs, and then we score that 7 minute, or we had the three and out, 7-minute drive, three and out, and I was like, oh man, this place is gonna be freaking rocking all night. And then they're like, oh, we're not gonna let Nebraska run, and we're gonna run the ball. Once they started giving it to King Miller, like that third drive of theirs, where it's like, oh, 8 yards, 12 yards, 12 yards, 10 yards, 6 yards. It's like you could just hear it, just oh no, like
so I don't think it's specific to Nebraska. Obviously, every fan base gets juiced up at the start of a game just because it's all the adrenaline anticipation. That it's not a Nebraska thing that happened, but you just wish that we could have just kept it going. And it was ended up being a perfect night. Like it was a little brisk, but it was not cold. Yeah, it felt like it was there for the taking, and I felt like the crowd could have we could have done better as far as just keeping the energy level going throughout the game. And I do think that stems just the back to all of the traumatizing moments that we've had, and it just sucks. Like it's no one's fault. Um,
right. You don't blame people for being like, oh no, here
but
we go.
I the people that whatever you want to call the greatest fans in college football, like we're not. Last night was as close as you're going to get to Nebraska fans being
The 13th man on the
the
field,
13th man or the
yeah,
the 12th man or the
12th man. Sorry, yeah,
uh
13th. The 12th man is
like having being a hard place to play and a nightmarish place to play, and I can't think of the word, but being deafening, all that. Like we still don't have that. For whatever reason. We're not the most intimidating place to play, even with all this stuff. And I mean that to me, I'm talking about the fans in general and the atmosphere. Like it was very, very good and well put on, but I just feel like it could have been more. And I also think it's a product of a lot of things, obviously. But I just wouldn't say that it's not still we need things still need to change. I think last night was a good example of something that we can do to help spark Memorial Stadium being a place that no one wants to come play in. But it's not like that anymore. Obviously, win games that helps fix that issue.
yes.
But we've now lost 29 in a row to ranked teams, and that's just a fact.
It's pretty impressive, really.
Yeah. So that's my take on the crowd and the atmosphere, like overall there. Oh, the game. Where do we want to go? You mentioned the start,
Yeah,
and it went about as perfect of a first quarter you could ask for. Really, pretty close to as good of a first half as you can ask for. Even on their couple of drives that they had, we held them to field goals,
yep,
uh, which our red zone defense, as we know, has
not
not been
great.
great. So
Part of
even
that was
then,
them. There were a
felt
couple
like
times where we bailed them out, or they bailed us out.
correct. Even then, it felt like okay, we're still very much in control of this game. And from the get go, the first couple of drives, Jaden Mayava, and this is to the crowd's credit, he was flustered.
Yep.
He was not comfortable at all. I would say we got a little bit of pressure and hurry on him, but it wasn't like it's still Nebraska, it's still our D line. It's not like it was anything that much noticeably different from past games. He just was panicked in the pocket, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten throwing the ball. He's shown that, and we held him to
35 yards.
135 yards, 9 of 24, whatever he was. Like
Mhm.
I, we early on, I was like, okay, like this is the game plan. This is working perfectly. And then you're right. USC said, okay, well, and Lincoln Riley said in his post game, you're daring us to run it. Well, okay, let's run it. Let's run it. And they did. And they did again. And they did again. And it turned into a classic, grind it, pound it out, Big Ten game that we lost.
Which was it was funny because USC did two things. We were daring them to run it, and then they started doing it. And then we came out and we're like, we're gonna run the freaking rock. And they're like, okay, well, we're gonna dare you to pass it. And then we didn't. We'll talk about our offense, but yes, that's exactly what
It,
happened with it.
it, so it's frustrating then that yes, we've struggled to run the ball. I want to give us credit because what was USC's strength? It was passing. We knew that coming in. We knew our strength was secondary, and we said, okay, we'll beat us running the ball. They did, and they kept running it. And it just this is where it's frustrating from a fan's perspective, the lack of adjustments and that we can make in game to overcome that. USC made an adjustment. They realized what was going on. They adjusted, and then the rest of the game they got comfortable and did enough to win in a
Yeah, and
game
we
that,
say
that that's
that.
that's not a game that they do not like to play that way. That is the opposite of a Lincoln Riley executed game. But the fact that they can still come out and win a game, that speaks a lot to the type of game that it was, and that's supposedly how we want to play, but we still can't win a game like that against a team that doesn't want to play like that. That's what's frustrating overall to me.
And I will say, I've been pretty low on our defense at times. We still did hold them to 21 points. And they are an offense, on the broadcast, they said they had only had three and outs in the first 5 games of the year. Then they had three against North or Notre Dame, and then the first two against us were three and out.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's like, okay, like, you know, we held them to 21 points. We held them to, under 50% passing completion and under 200 or
I mean,
135 passing yards. Like,
I'll give us credit. We took away what they wanted to do, and that to me is the number one most important thing of defense is force the other team to do something they're not comfortable doing. So I guess props we did that to start, but it's like after we did that, we didn't have any counters and counter punches to throw back at him. And
gosh, I
good
just
that's
wish.
what coaching is. That is what great coaching is keeping the other team's players and coaching staff off balance and punch counter punch, punch counter punch. And we threw the first punch like we have so many games. And then when USC threw their counter punch, we just took it right, straight to the nose and we're like, oh shit.
And the
Now
thing
what?
is, like, it wasn't, I didn't feel like bad tackling was an issue.
No.
I didn't feel blown coverages were an issue. I mean, we had some PI calls as like they probably, we gave that to them because of poor coverage. It wasn't necessarily a great play. It wasn't like USC tricked us into this pass interference. It's like, no, our guy was in position and he had great spot on the ball, and he just goofed up a
Yep.
couple a little too aggressive. So that was I we just if we just had, I say this, if just had, but we just need like that one guy on the defensive line that gets pressure by himself, that where we don't have to pull that guy from the
I
secondary because
agree.
we we don't get any pressure on, even though Jaden was a little bit frazzled at the beginning. That's partly because the crowd and the night and the moment. But we didn't get any pressure on him. So when it came time to start running the ball and we were still trying to prevent the passing, we need someone to disrupt that line, and we just didn't have it.
And it's just one guy up front. Like disrupt or just clog stuff up. I thought USC's offensive line did a pretty good job of building holes for the USC running backs. And I thought our like you said, I thought our linebackers and our key tacklers did a pretty good job of tackling. I thought we rallied to the ball pretty well. And there were several times that I was like, oh shit, there's a hole. And then it only ended up in 4 yards. But guess what? You can't let them have 4 yards because they blew you off the line every play.
There
It's going to happen
was
every so
there was
often.
just that whatever that drive was where Miller was like felt like every run was a 10-yard run. I
It
know
did.
you there's two of those drives that was just
And,
like this
and
is a
and it's not the
killer.
first time we've seen it this year. That's
Yeah.
what sucks. Is it's not like USC exploited something that was new. That we knew our D line struggled. It was the fact that we didn't adjust at all to it, and maybe we don't. I don't know what the answer is. I put more guys in the box. Well, yeah. Then the coaches would say, well, yeah, but then you're letting them pass it, and that's what they want to do. Well, maybe like that might be true. But it felt like we maybe took the first couple of steps this week defensively, and then just didn't know where to go from there. And then USC did just enough to win. So
So yeah, okay. You look at it, we went into the game, we wanted to control time possession, make it a messy game. We did that. We held them to 21 points. We held them to 135 passing yards on less than 50% of passing. We had an interception. They had 8 penalties for 50 yards, which is almost twice as many penalties as we did. It's like everything that you want to do to win the game, that we thought we had to do to win the game, we did, and we still lost. That's the
mhm,
frustrating part.
I thought we played a pretty decent game.
It
Like,
felt a little bit kind of like Michigan,
yeah,
where it's like, gosh, we should have had that one.
this
Now,
even felt like more to the extreme though to me than even
yes,
Michigan.
I
It
agree.
just it is because we really did play schematically better than we have all year as far as taking away what they wanted to do. Um, and didn't do it. The okay, I
As
can't
far
believe
as
we've gone this long without saying it, but the momentum and everything changed
Yep,
after one play,
yep,
and for not for multiple reasons too. And that play we're talking about is Dylan getting sacked, fumbling it on. It was right. I believe it was right after we got the interception, and
yep.
a couple of plays later, Dylan gets strip sacked.
8 minutes
Ball comes
left in
out,
the third quarter-ish.
and he. I mean, I remember getting that ball and saying, "We don't even need to score a touchdown here. Like, get one first down and make a 45, 42 yard field goal and go up 17 to 6. Like that was really all I thought at that moment. Well, then we get strip sacked. Ball comes out. Dylan gets injured.
Broken
Um,
fibula.
and but at that time, we didn't know what it was.
Yep.
Comes out of the game. Um, they take possession of the ball and go down and score, get the 2 point conversion. And right there, that was the moment that you were saying earlier of the place just going, oh boy. Because you just felt USC was kind of moving it, but we were holding on, and they went down and finally broke through and scored. Dylan's now out, which we're obviously talk a lot about the implications of this.
Dylan's
Lady
out
right
for
in
the
front of
year.
me,
If for those of you listening who do not know, I'm sure
yeah,
you're all Dylan's done for the year.
out for the year,
I
ends up
want you
being
to
a broken
know,
fibula.
my first thought was freaking Hunter last week had to be like, we need to use TJ Lateef more. And you know what we get?
Okay,
We get more TJ Lateef. This is
so
almost
this is my point to this though. With this happening, and this obviously is going to be a big conversation. I did not think we needed to start TJ Lateef. I wanted TJ Lateef to be available for packages to be a threat running it because I do not think that TJ Lateef can do even half the things that Dylan does in the passing game. So I did not want TJ Lateef to start. There's obviously people out there that do and are very anti Dylan, and I am still very, very, very pro Dylan. I just wanted Lateef to have some opportunities with packages a couple of weeks. This is after the Minnesota game that I said that. And yeah, now we're going to get to see him. So right when this happened, and this is just Husker fans to an extreme. The lady right in front of us, bigger gal, Dylan, someone's down. We saw after the play, didn't really see who. We're all trying to figure out who someone's hurt, who is Husker player. Oh, who is I'm like, I think it's Dylan. Oh, it is Dylan. Yep, that's Dylan. That lady right in front of me goes, "Thank God, about time." I was like, "Oh no!" Like, and she was obviously she'd been saying she actually said boo when they announced Dylan Raiola's name also in the starting lineup. So, we just keep in mind there's dumb people like that out there that do that. And to me, again, I just laugh. It's entertainment because people are dumb. I'm sure this lady does not listen to this podcast, but no. Anyways, that was that reaction. So someone like that is like thinking Nebraska football saved now. Well, then as we know how the game goes on, I initially thought too, I'm like, okay, TJ is going to add a running right now.
Right, this is the punch we need. Like we can feel the game's turning. All of a sudden, TJ comes out, rips out a long run. Like, okay, maybe.
I thought maybe I thought this could be okay. Like we're gonna have a quarterback run game, which we did, and TJ was able to
got a couple first downs with his legs.
Correct. Like able to slowly move the ball.
He looks slow running. I know he's not, but I don't know what it looked like in the stadium. But I just particularly that run where he fumbled it out of bounds and it didn't really matter that much. But I was like, it just doesn't feel like he's going. I know he's moving fast, but his motion looks because he's long and skinny, you know?
So that happens, and then our pass game is like vanished. And I say vanished, like gone. And we really weren't in a point in the game at the time where we needed to pass it too much, but it was a combination of a couple of things. I think one, I don't know how good of a passer Lateef is. Like I'm not sure.
Right.
But two, the coaching staff has that information, and they clearly were not comfortable.
USC's coverage was good.
And yeah, and then USC has good athletes in the secondary. So I don't know. I'm not going to say that if we had Dylan, we would have won that game for sure. But it
definitely changes your punches because it went from Dylan was a hell of a thrower. Johnson's a great runner. We kind of had the two, we can go either or. Once you put in TJ Lateef, it's like, okay, we can really freaking stack the house. Like, I am not, if TJ beats us with his arm, whatever. Because they knew he wasn't going to. With Dylan, you had to at least worry about that.
Yes.
I mean, that shoulder pass, that our first touchdown pass, he had like 3 balls that were right there that got broken up, or the first 2 that was basically the exact same pass. And he hit it the third time. Like once Dylan was out and TJ, the threat of him passing it, which I personally I think they probably should have tried a few more times. I don't know if you would have run out, maybe put some of the backup receivers that TJ has a better relationship with out there, make him more comfortable or something.
Yeah, there were a couple of just back shoulder type of throws that Dylan has thrown a lot that TJ tried throwing it was like, oh boy, like that wasn't good. Which again, a lot of those are timing.
But routes. Once TJ came in, USC is like, we're gonna stop Emmett Johnson. And I mean they kind of did. And Emmett was looking tired by the end of that game. His speed was not quite there at the end.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just that last drive, then we still had a chance to go down with the winning
Emmett
drive
slips.
with a different quarterback. So add it to the list that we've had two greens in the last two games, and now we're taking another red. Emmett slips and falls on fourth and two or fourth and one, and we lose the game. What I there's okay, let's there's the play calling and the structure and design identity, all that around the team with Dylan, and then there's the situation we have moving forward. So that we're probably wasting time now talking about the team with Dylan because Dylan's now out for the year. Clearly, Dana still has very little, I don't say faith or trust, but belief that Dylan has any sort of mobility. And I feel like we got better at trying to get balls to our playmakers' hands quicker and avoiding sacks. And I do feel
Yeah.
like that was done better on a
I didn't
passing.
feel I didn't feel like I really didn't feel like their pass rush was as impactful as
Correct.
others. At the beginning of the game, they showed us, the stats of comparing the quarterbacks, and it was, Jaden and Dylan, and it was like 16 passes, touchdown, 17 touchdown passes, and Jaden's got 3 interceptions, and Dylan's got 5, and Jaden's been sacked 9 times, Dylan's been sacked 27 times. It's like, Jesus Christ.
What I liked a lot, I think all the passing out, is that we went back to saying we need to run the ball to win. Like it was very clear this game again. Nope, Emmett, your game, go shine again. And we did, and Emmett did. Emmett shined
He
again.
looked freaking good
He
that
did.
first half.
It he gets tired, don't get me wrong, but you have to do that. Sorry, Emmett, if you're probably hurting today, but you're going to get the ball 30 times a game. That's still going to be the game plan moving forward because you're that damn good. And he did a great job again. I'm not blaming he slipped on the lack of being tired, but he
No.
runs so hard. And I said it before, what he's so good at is his burst and agility after a sharp cut. Like he looks like Amir Abdullah, like the type
Yep.
of runner that he does. That's what he looks like running the ball. So, anyways, he very much is going to be the key focus and was this week again. I mean, even Dylan's staff before he got injured. I mean, they weren't great. It's gonna be a very EJ focused offense moving forward, which I think is a very good
EJ
thing.
TJ, man, what a great.
I think it's very good. I think Dana, your job's up. Like it's time for you to show how you can adjust now to a very, very different style of quarterback. Very different style. And I'm not blaming the coaching staff really for this, but unfortunately, your offensive scheme around a Dylan based team and a TJ team is not going to look the same, and it shouldn't look the same. They are two different skill sets, and that's what we recruited to. So
Yeah, don't know why, but we
that
did.
that that also it's a problem then when you try to throw a guy into a system that is not really fit to his strengths, and you're now asked to go win a game like that. That's difficult. So yeah, I guess it is on coaching and recruiting because that's what you elected to go with Dylan. And now you have 2 or 3 games left in the year. Probably change. Now you're not going to overhaul everything, but you're going to have to design stuff and get a freshman quarterback feeling comfortable doing some different things. And I think there's a lot of ways you can do that. But that also was something I was hoping going into the year we were going to have more of that running type of quarterback because Dylan, his body was right and he lost some weight. And
Hey, he did. He ran on that first drive.
yeah, he
He got
did.
us 6 yards.
6 yard run. God, he still looks so good.
I know.
Goofy running.
I
But
would say, four, 2 of those 6 yards were him falling forward. Um, Also worth pointing out, TJ fumbled it 3 times in his
yeah, that
first
was
round.
evident.
So does not feel good. And I mean, he's a true freshman, and obviously the expectations for the season change a little bit. um, when your star quarterback goes out. But gosh, he did look like a true freshman. He looked every, 150 pounds and the three fumbles.
I saw that he just looks small. I noticed that dude on the TV. They're on the big screen there at the game. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. This add to the roller coaster, baby. It just I don't know where this leads us for the rest of the year. Um, I
It definitely changes what, I mean, it changes your perception of, if we end the year 7, 8 wins, it changes how you feel about it.
it
I
does
think so.
it does, but I don't want it to. Here's what I don't want. The only thing that I'm not only thing, but the big thing I'll be looking for is I don't want it to be an excuse. I
Right.
don't I don't want to hear the coaches. I just I don't want to hear it. I don't, from the players about I'm not saying that everything is obviously is the same under a backup quarterback. Or I mean, we can talk about our offensive line, how numerous backup guys have played there, but we don't cut the offensive line slack for being second stringers in most of the time. Like we shouldn't be doing it for the quarterback. Obviously, is a very key position. That should not be an excuse though of how the season ends. And that's what scares me for the program. You finish 7-5, and people are going to say, "Well, if we would have had Dylan, we would have went." No, I don't. I don't think so. Like we have a good opportunity to still go win these next 3 games with TJ at the quarterback if we do things the right way and that we guys are in the right state of mind and we play physical football. We're tough. We run the ball. We stop the run. Like that's what these teams are going to do. And we said USC is probably the best one of these
Yep.
4 teams, or people thought that. I don't know. Like that's probably still true. So these games are still very important, and we still have a good chance to win all of them. I think the line moved about 4 points today when the news came out about Dylan from when it opened, which it opened. I mean, I think it opened. I don't know. I saw USC 1.5, and then I saw us 1.5, and then right after the news broke, it went to like USC to 3.
You mean UCLA? Is that what you're talking
Or
about?
sorry, yeah, UCLA. Replace all those with UCLA. And now it's UCLA -3 right now. So like, yeah, Dylan obviously helps us win, gives us a
We have
better
a
chance.
week.
But
We have a week to work with TJ, and in the whatever Houston Christian. I mean, he threw the ball well. I think it's there. It's not Dylan level, but
and obviously the opponent's very different. What
yes, also
what I think is super nice though is you have a little bit of an element of surprise now with TJ.
right.
And sorry, Dana and coaching staff, but it's kind of a lose-lose situation for you. Like our offense looks shitty. You still look like bad coaches. If TJ comes out and we actually have some good offense, you're gonna hear the Dylan haters out there, and it's gonna say, "Well, we should have been playing this guy all along, and look what this does to our offense," and blah 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 blah. Like it's kind of a loser situation, but that's your
Yep.
job still to go out and win games. Like I don't, people aren't gonna bitch and complain if we win these last 3 games. You lose them, it's a lose-lose situation for whatever reason. So you better find a way to win them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's really no if the yeah it comes out. Say they wins 2 of the next 3. It's like, well, now you have to deal with a little Dylan TJ fan. You really don't, because I think most people you're just
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
go
Internally, it's going to be pretty
internally
obvious.
not.
But yeah, the fans, oh yeah, and the fans and the media, like
Right, that's true. Then you come out, you lose, 2 of the next 3, and all of a sudden everyone's like, "Man, you guys need to do better as coaches." And
it's not. It's unfortunate, but it's just the world we live in, and that's
yep,
why they get paid the big bucks. It is like that is why you're paid to coach, and you get an extension. That's going to be your job, and to navigate through all of this. It's
but you did get the official 2-year extension. I don't know if we talked about we didn't have any details when we talked about it on Thursday, but Matt Rule did get a 2-year extension
yep,
with a
yeah, good
50
point. We
mil.
didn't we didn't go through the details of
So
it. I'll just briefly say this. I don't. disagree that you have to give an extension, had to give an extension, but I also think like if you still think Rule's the right guy, and part of me, I still think he is. Like you had to do it, which is just unfortunate. I will say now, knowing that you have to do it or had to do it, the terms of it, I really, really, really appreciated. Um, I thought the structure of it was very, very
It was
made a lot of
favorable.
sense.
Yeah, because you can't pay him less at any point.
No, and you don't.
You
I
know,
love. I just thought it was very well
that
done,
just
put
doesn't happen.
together for the purpose that it needed to be done for. It was put together well, given the
Yeah.
situation.
Hey, you
So
guys, if you want to leave, Matt, we're gonna get paid. Like,
yes,
so and that goes to show that Matt does want to stay here. He's like, yeah, I don't want to screw you guys over if I end up leaving.
Austin. This is my. It scares the living hell out of me. I can already see it. I can already see it. If we, we probably will be. We're probably going to be underdogs in our last 3 games, and we finish 6-6. And all people are going to say is,
Dylan didn't get
well, if we
hurt.
had Dylan, we might have been all right. And unfortunately, the reality is this locker room kind of is just over everything. Like, and then we are stuck with the rule here for a couple more years of 6-6 and 7-5 and 7-5, and until in 2027 we decide, okay, this is complacent. We need more. We fire him. Like I just have this bad feeling that's the path we're going down, and we just then blame and make excuses for why we're still 7-5 and 6-6, and someone got hurt when I say we, I'm talking about, the coaches will say it,
Right.
the media will say it, until the point that we aren't okay with it, and then it's drag on, and I hate it. I hate it. If you can see it, if you can predict that future, then don't let it happen. But
We just gotta win 2 of the next 3.
I agree. And it
Gotta win
starts
2
this
of the
week.
next 3.
Obviously, still a very winnable game.
Yep, they're all winnable games. Iowa doesn't score a lot of points historically. UCLA is a winnable game.
So,
That'll work.
all right. Well, got through it.
We made
I
it.
kind of liked it. I kind of liked the raw emotion thoughts from it. I made it. I don't know, more fun.
There you go.
I didn't. I didn't get. I didn't get mad at people's comments. Let's just say that. Besides the lady that sat in front of me at the game.
It is a bummer that Dylan's out for the year, though.
It does. It really does.
That sucks. It takes a little wind out of your sails. It's like,
It does.
not that, again, not that I don't think that we should be able to win these games, but definitely just, it takes away a little level of comfort of like, okay, I know I'm going to get good quarterback play.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a random prediction out. I'm gonna hit you at a question. Percentage chance that Dylan Raiola is our starting quarterback week 1 next season.
I assume from a pure injury perspective, it should be healed. I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah, make whatever assumptions you can on that. But
Um, 92%.
okay, we'll check in on that. I'm at 80, 85, but yeah.
It's pretty low. I feel like Emmett Johnson is going to transfer, or I think he's going to go to the draft. I think Matt Rule will
I
still be here.
I think so too. Depending on how this year goes and finishes, I think funny thing, my mind wouldn't have been here, but if we go 6-6, I would have said Dylan's probably getting the hell out of here because he thinks he can be playing somewhere else. Now, if we go 6-6, I think he's staying more because
He didn't play.
he's going to say, well,
He,
yeah, I'm the reason why we only won 6.
right.
We would have won 8 or 9 if I would have played.
I mean, I honestly think we would have beat USC if he stayed upright the whole game.
Yeah.
I really do think that. I know it's not how it shook out, and I can't prove that. And I'm a dumb Husker fan, and of course I believe we would have won. But I felt like we were really in control of the game. And then he breaks his leg and drops the ball.
If
Boom.
TJ if we play well with TJ, and it is going to be because he has a running aspect to it, and we win games because of it. Oh God, it's going to get ugly, and Dylan might just say "F this," like he might.
Which might be fine if that's how, if the reason he left is because TJ played so well the last 3 games of the year. It's like,
Correct.
okay, maybe we're in a better spot than we thought we were.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. Like I said, let the roller coaster continue. Let it continue. Okay, we'll be back. Husker basketball tomorrow night, 6, 7 p.m. I think, BTN Plus, West Georgia. By the way, if you haven't listened to it already, the Nebraska basketball preview episode is also out there with this episode. So check that out.
Women's volleyball still undefeated in set play in the Big Ten.
And I think this might have been the last team, Wisconsin, on
Friday.
that could have challenged us. God, I was just texting people Wednesday. It's just so boring to watch. Like
It
we
is.
just obliterate
I was
teams.
telling Maddie, I really want us to lose one. The pressure builds when all of a sudden it's like we haven't dropped a set in Big Ten play, and then you go to the Big Ten tournament.
What's wild is like how like we're just that good
Right. Like
to where it's not
Oregon,
even like possible. That I guess what's weird about it.
like the Oregon game today, it was like, oh man, we're down by one late in set two. It's like 17-16. Look out, and then we ripped a 6 point, 6 point run, and okay, won that set by 5 points. Like they're really freaking good.
You talk about a good problem to have. I mean, coaching a team like that is not easy. I mean, for your end goal of winning a national title, like keeping people motivated and not complacent, it's very difficult. But Danny's doing that in a very very um, good way so far, and I mean, it just looks like all the girls are having fun, enjoying it,
Yep.
but still kicking ass while doing it.
Yeah. They're killing it.
Okay, go big red.
GBR.